Another important skill fifth graders are going to use when performing operations on fractions is to simplify those fractions. Simplifying just means to take our fraction and reduce it to its smallest form. It's making an equivalent fraction using division. So it's the same amount of space, it takes up the same amount of space as our original fraction, it's just in the simplest form. So if I have to take 6/12 and simplify it, that means both 6 and 12 are divisible by the same number. In order to find that number, I can list out the factors of each, and then I can find the greatest or the largest factor they have in common. Once I have that number, that's what I'm going to divide 6 and 12 by. So I've made two T-charts. I'm going to take 6 and I'm going to list out the factors. So I know 1 times 6 is 6. I know 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to move on to 12. I know 1 times 12 is 12. I know 2 times 6 is 12. And I know that 3 times 4 is 12. So now I want to look for the largest number under both of those charts that they have in common. That number is going to be 6. That means I'm going to take my 6 and divide it by 6, and I'm going to take my 12 and divide it by 12. We are making an equivalent fraction when we simplify, so whatever you do to the top, you do to the bottom, and vice versa. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So our simplest form of 6/12 is 1/2. Some other types of numbers students will be simplifying are mixed numbers and improper fractions. We're going to start with turning a mixed number into an improper fraction. So our mixed number is a whole number with a fraction. So 2 2/3 is a mixed number because I have 2 as my whole and 2/3 as my fraction. To start, we can use MAD to remember the steps in order to take our mixed number and turn it into an improper fraction. I want to start by M, multiply the whole number by the denominator. So I'm going to take 3 and 2. I'm going to multiply those together to give me 6. I'm then going to add the product to the numerator. So I'm going to take this 6 and I want to add it to my numerator. So I'm going to take 6, add 2. That gives me 8. And my denominator stays the same. So I would have 8/3. This makes an improper fraction because an improper fraction is a fraction that has a numerator greater than the denominator. So 8 is greater than 3, which makes it an improper fraction. We can also go from an improper fraction back to a mixed number. We cannot leave improper fractions as final answers unless it is specifically asking us for the improper fraction. So the first step to taking an improper fraction and turning it into a mixed number is to divide the numerator by the denominator. So we're going to use 44/5 as our example. So I'm going to take 44 and I'm going to divide it by 5. So I can set up my division equation. 44 is my dividend, 5 is my divisor. So then I can take 5. I know that 5 cannot go into 4. 5 times 0 is 0. 4, bring down my 4. So now I need to think how many groups of 5 fit into 44. That would be 8. 5 times 8 is 40. And I have a leftover of 4. So we have 5, we have 8, and we have 4. Our whole number, so our answer on the top is going to be our whole number in our mixed number. So my answer up here is 8. I can fit 8 full groups of 5 into 44. So I would make sure 8 is my whole number. My remainder is what is left to get to this 44. So my remainder becomes the new numerator of my fraction. So I'm going to put my 4 on top, and then my denominator is going to stay the same. So 44 fifths is also equivalent to 8 and 4 fifths. Here's our improper fraction. Our numerator is greater than the denominator. Here's our mixed number, a whole number plus a fraction. So when I divide my numerator by the denominator, the whole number in the quotient is my whole number for the mixed number. My remainder becomes the numerator of the fraction, and your denominator stays the same.